Let me get to the next clip now. This is where climate change comes up. And Joe Rogan, I'm going to get to the full article that he brings up here because he clearly did not read it.
You got to deal with this climate change issue. And I know that, there are some people who think climate change is a hoax. It ain't a hoax. I think the last 10 years have been the warmest on record. And we can create millions of good-paying jobs transforming our energy system away from fossil fuel to energy efficiency, to solar, to wind, and other sustainable energies.
I think the climate change issue is very complicated. And I think, did you see the Washington Post piece that they wrote where they did this long-term view? First of all, the reality is that the Earth's temperature has never been static, right? We could both agree on that. It's always been up and down. There's been ice ages and heat waves. And then the Washington Post looked at it. What was the time period that they looked at? That essentially they found that we're in a cooling period. That the Earth over the past X amount of years, and this was like a very inconvenient discovery, but they had to report the data, and kudos to them for doing that. Scientists have captured the Earth's climate change over the last 485 million years. Here's a surprising place we stand now. So look at the far end of that graph, and you see we're in a cooling period.
Well, I'm not sure. I didn't read that article, but
Yeah.
The scientists who are out there, I think.
I know, but there's a lot of money involved in that too, Bernie. That's part of the problem. There's a lot of money involved in this whole climate change emergency issue, and there's a lot of control.
I'm going to get to this article. It is remarkable. He clearly did not read it while claiming he knows what's in it. This is, before I even address that, just quickly, because he brings up, the control, all the power that these scientists want, or something. The fossil fuel industry spent $219 million to elect a new U.S. government. Take a look at the industries pouring money into politicians. It's not the science community, you idiot. But don't worry, he reads the Washington Post, or at least reads the bolded headline, doesn't even read the subheading. An effort to understand Earth's past climates uncovered a history of wild temperature shifts and offered a warning on the consequences of human-caused warming. Why would they write that if this was apparently an article saying, actually, climate change isn't a really big deal because the Earth cools and warms? Yes, that is true. The Earth cools and warms. What he fails to tell you is if you scroll down a little bit and maybe read the article, it says this. The timeline illustrates how swift and dramatic temperature shifts were associated with many of the world's worst moments, including a mass extinction that wiped out roughly 90% of all species and the asteroid strike that killed the dinosaurs. Quote, we know that these catastrophic events shift the landscape of what life looks like. When the environment warms that fast, animals and plants can't keep pace with it. At no point in the nearly 500 million years that Judd and her colleagues analyzed did the Earth change as fast as it is changing now. This is the point he's supposed to be taking away from this. Yet, the point that he takes away is that actually we're in a cooling period. There were no humans back here, you idiot. Of course, human existence was only able to develop during this period that is a cooler period in the billions of years that the Earth has existed. That has nothing to do with how fast it is warming now and how much we are screwed. In the same way as a massive asteroid hitting Earth, what we're doing now is unprecedented. Like, just read the article, for the love of God.